What up, guys? We're back. Episode 3, first of the new year. Hope everybody had a good new year. Happy holidays to everybody. So for this episode, we're going to be talking about the college football playoffs, a little UCF. Going to throw in Wildcard weekend, which is coming up.
Got it. Happy New Year, guys.
Just celebrating with a little bit of champagne. No better way to come into the new year. All right, so, John, maybe we start off with the college football playoffs?
College football playoffs. What a Rose Bowl. That was one of the best games I've ever seen. Probably since last year's Bama Clemson.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, that was really cool to see Georgia and Oklahoma just duke it out. It was interesting because if you told me going into the game that the score was going to be 54-48, I would have assumed Oklahoma was going to win. That's like a Big 12 shootout game. They imposed their will.
No defense.
And Georgia found a way to win in Oklahoma style. That proves that Georgia's a great team. They can win because they're usually defensive led.
Mm-hmm.
For them to do that, to put up 54 and allow 48 and still win the game, double overtime. I mean, just what a classic. Baker Mayfield, he's awesome. He's going to have a bright future in the NFL, unless he goes to the Browns.
Nobody goes to the Browns to die.
Yeah.
Their careers die.
But otherwise, I mean, yeah, Georgia, I know a lot of people are mad about like Alabama getting in and saying the SEC is overrated, but no one's been saying that about Georgia, and they sure proved that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's kind of weird because everybody was, complaining that the SEC had a down year this year. And this was one of the worst Bama teams, in a while. But that team deserves to be in the playoff, and they won and they proved it by dominating Clemson in the rematch. So, I think if anything, you got to look at Clemson and question them, their quarterback play. Kelly Bryant didn't impress me at all. That was one of the first games I guess I've seen him play, but he looked pretty bad. Like, they couldn't move the ball.
Yeah, that was...
Bama's defense was stubby, but... I just wasn't very impressed by him. And Oklahoma, like you were talking about, mostly offensive driven, that's probably going to be a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
And, it seemed like they just didn't want to play defense.
Right.
I don't know. You could question them. I wouldn't question the SEC, though. I wouldn't say, they should have put Ohio State or UCF in instead of an SEC team.
Mm-hmm.
I say you look at the ACC, if anything, or you look at, the Big 12.
Well, I mean, I think Clemson definitely deserved to be there. You're not supposed to throw in previous years, but they were defending champs and defending runner-ups. Pretty much all that changed was quarterback play, and I guess, I mean, losing Deshaun Watson is huge, but they're still really good. Only one loss, and it was when Kelly got injured. I know Syracuse isn't that great, but still, when you're starting QB, when you miss him for an entire half, upsets can happen.
Yeah.
I think Clemson was deserving of the number 1 seed. Georgia, Oklahoma, it could have been 2-3, whatever. Yeah, and then, that question does become Bama. Their resume wasn't as great this regular season, but they sure proved that they deserve to be there by not just beating Clemson, but by pounding them. I mean, that defense looked like last year's Alabama defense. That's what we got to know. And their offense, it was weird watching that game. They weren't too impressive until the defense flipped the momentum. Then they could put together some drives, and they just tried to run out the clock. But anyways, yeah, I definitely think Bama deserved to be in there. But with the SEC having a down year, I think they were very top heavy. I think there's a lot of...
Definitely.
They used to be like, LSU was a title contender, Georgia, Alabama, Florida.
Florida had a bad year.
Yeah, Florida was awful.
Kentucky, never mind.
Too soon. We almost got our goal in. Yeah, and then South Carolina would be like a BCS bowl contender. There was,
yeah. Marshawn Lattimore days, dude,
yeah.
They were right there.
Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon.
So SEC was down in a sense that they weren't deep, but they are still the most top heavy. They proved that in the playoffs. Georgia, Oklahoma could have gone either way, but Georgia won. They deserved it, and this should be a really exciting final. I think it's funny. Oklahoma did not live up well to the Big 12 stereotype. Just high-powered offense, no defense.
No defense, yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at like Bama's built, I think you pretty much can say they're built on defense. Every year in, year out, they have a solid defense, and they get an offense that can get them some points.
Yeah, don't turn it over.
But I don't think they're a team that's going to win if they're behind. They just play it really well when they're ahead because they can run the ball. Jalen Hurts can make some plays. But then you look at Oklahoma, it was just strictly offense. There was,
Yeah.
the defense was terrible. I didn't see a single dude make an actual play in that game.
Well, Oklahoma did score defensively.
That's true, but that was
Those are usually fluky plays, especially if they come off fumbles.
play. That guy hadn't fumbled all season
Yeah.
long, and then he fumbles, and then they return it on a really lucky bounce. They could have easily gone out of bounds. It was on the sideline.
That's
and then
true.
He picked it up and ran it in. Good for him.
Yeah.
Okay, there was the one play, but I didn't see. I mean, there were a lot of missed tackles. There was a lot of terrible coverage. People were getting beat down the field. There were huge plays in that game, dude. The running backs
were killed it. Yeah. I mean, if you looked at the stats,
like 23 yards per carry, we were looking at that 23 yards per carry at one point.
Yeah, that was absurd.
Carries.
No, it was 6 carries when he was like 23. He was at like 138 yards. Because if you looked at the QB stats, I mean, Baker didn't just kill it. I don't even know if he had 300 yards. I mean, he still had a great game. But
the thing about him is they stopped using him. Like the second half, they were really conservative. And then in overtime, the first possession, 3 straight runs, kicked a field goal. Next possession, 2 straight runs, and then they threw it. It was just like you got to unleash the Heisman, man. Especially in overtime.
Definitely.
You got 25 yards.
How do you feel about that play calling when they were down 3, have the ball, and Baker did not get to throw it once?
I feel really bad about that play calling. I think honestly, coaching really screwed them in that game. The stupid kick, with 6 seconds left to go in the half.
Yeah, the squib instead of kicking it off deep.
I don't see a problem with the play call, but the execution was terrible, and now it looks like the play call was terrible.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Regardless, if you try to kick that deep, that doesn't happen. So, I mean, I don't know. I think the play call really cost Oklahoma in that game, and that was with rookie coach, right? He's
Lincoln Riley.
Replacing Bob Stoops, the legend.
The legend, yeah.
The legend, dude, Bob Stoops.
But, I mean, Lincoln Riley, successful year. I mean, a couple play calls where you did that where we disagree with, but you still were in double overtime. Turned a team that people didn't really think was going to be a championship contender, but, winning in Ohio State early on in the season, winning the Big 12. Congrats. I mean, you had a great year. Oklahoma's a bright future. I mean, they had a bright past too, but
definitely, yeah. They got to replace Baker though. He's gone. That's the majority of their team, I think.
Right, but it's the Big 12. They don't have defenses, so some other quarterback will step in. And
I'm sure they've got another good recruit coming in.
Predictions.
I'm going Bama in a low-scoring game. Let's go 2017.
20-17. Is it going to be like a game-winning field goal, or are they going to run out the clock? Or
it's going to be Bama's going to drive down. Score a field goal. It'll be 17-17. Bama scores the field goal, and then Georgia had an opportunity to answer, and they can't.
And they miss?
They just can't get down there. You can kick the field goal.
I like Georgia. I'll be 24-14. I think they're the better team. I think if they can... No. I think it's going to be a close game until about 5-6 minutes to go. I think that's when you're going to kind of realize that Georgia's pulling away or Alabama's just running out of time. I think they might take a early lead and just kind of milk the clock, dare Alabama to throw, and just trust on Jalen Hurts not winning the game.
Yeah.
He's a good college quarterback, but he's not a great quarterback, and he's not one of those guys. I mean, they just played Baker Mayfield, so they've seen the best, and now they're going to get a slightly above average.
True, but the defense is on another level.
That's true.
They played no defense, and now they're going to play.
Their offense will struggle, but
it'll be a tough game. But Georgia
home field advantage too. I mean,
that's true.
The game's played 70 miles from Georgia's campus.
That's a good point. But Alabama's not far away.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, I mean Alabama will travel.
Yeah,
but it's slightly a home game for Georgia.
Yeah, the only thing I like about Georgia over Bama is their run game. Nick Chubb, and then I can't remember the other guy's name, but Nick Chubb's backup. I mean, they went off, and those guys.
Michelle, is that what it is?
I
think it is.
I think it was. Yeah, you're right. But either way, those guys can control the ground and the flow of the game, and it'll be a really defensive and run-heavy game. I think that's why I think low scoring. I don't see a whole lot of big plays going on. I think special teams could be a huge thing. Like kickers, you never know. But
especially like Alabama.
Georgia's kicker was actually really solid. I was impressed with him. He hit that 55-yarder Rose Bowl record, and he drilled it too. He looks like a little nerd. That guy's weird looking, but he can kick the ball. Man. He can kick the ball. He studies up on his kicking. So, good for him. But I could see it coming down to a field goal. I just don't know if I trust Bama's kicker, and I'm picking Bama, though. I think the defense is too good.
If their defense plays like they did Monday, I would pick them, too. I don't know if they can do it that good twice. back-to-back weeks. But I mean, if that's the defense that they had last year, and that defense was legit. If last year, if the offense didn't score a single point in the regular season, they would have been 6-8. Like, that's incredible, and that's how good the defense was last night. They would have won that game too, just off the special team and defensive scores against the number one team in the country. So, yeah, it should be good. If Alabama's defense shows up, I'll take them. Maybe even in a shutout, but I don't think they will. I mean, I trust Georgia. I think they're going to pull off the upset. I think the home crowd's going to
even with Saban's coaches being 0-11 against him. Going for Kirby as the first.
No one doesn't beat Nick 12 times in a row. I don't know the saying.
No.
Well, whatever the saying is. I don't know. This is the time. Kirby Smart's going to do it.
All right, we'll see, dude.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Now let's shift on to the NFL.
Let's do it.
Wildcard weekend.
Yep.
Let's see. The NFC has two really good games. The AFC, not so much.
No.
So what I want to do first is worst and get the AFC out of the way.
Let's do it.
Tennessee, Kansas City. I think we both think Kansas City's going to blow them out. I don't know. Do you think so?
I don't know about a blowout, but I think they're definitely going to win. Tennessee just scares me. I don't really know what to expect from them. They got Mariota's really inconsistent this year. DeMarco's out, so it's all on Derrick Henry, who had 21 carries for 50 yards last week, somewhere around there. Those aren't exact numbers, but it wasn't good. Less than 2.5 yards per carry. I mean, it was poor.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
The receivers, I don't trust any of those guys. Defense is shaky. Decker. No.
Delaney Walker.
Delaney Walker could be the only thing, but Travis Kelce he's going to take that.
Oh, yeah, and Kelsey's way better.
The Chiefs just have a dynamic offense. Kareem Hunt's back on track. Tyreek Hill is a big play waiting to happen. Alex Smith doesn't turn over the ball.
And he's throwing deep this year too. I mean, it was interesting with the Chiefs because they were the best team after 5 weeks, and they looked good. It wasn't just their record. They were really good. Something happened mid-season. I think it might have been play calling or
there was a little
injury, but
production from Kareem Hunt went way down, and that could have something to do with play call as well. But
Alex Smith was a lot more conservative with the ball,
he was,
and they fell off the MVP race. They thought they were going to lose the division to the Chargers, who started 0-4. Then they got back on track and just won their division. That's what you got to do. And now they're going to be hosting Tennessee, kind of a gift. Mariota. I mean, we all had a lot of high hopes for him, but he is the only quarterback in the playoffs this year that has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. So, I mean, not somebody that you really want to trust in Kansas City, loud crowd.
Good defense. Turnover, ball hawking defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think the Chiefs win that pretty easily.
I agree with
that. So going into this year, you would have thought this was a week 2 Sunday morning game. Nowhere on TV. You can't watch it unless you go to a bar or you're in Buffalo, Jacksonville. But instead, it's a playoff game. Bills, Jaguars.
I called the Bills.
You did call the Bills.
Bills making, but I also called the Chargers. So
yeah,
I was 1 for 2. But
I mean, that's Bills Mafia. I mean, we got to break a table. Let's do it. I mean,
I wouldn't count the Bills out, man, in this game. If Shady plays, which it's looking...
I thought he wasn't going to, but I've been thinking...
going to.
Oh, cool.
He said today that his injury wasn't as bad as he thought it was. He's out of the boot. He's able to walk, and so he'll probably at least suit up tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm cheering for... Jacksonville's just been really exciting this year. Their defense... I think I talk about their defense every single time, but
it's worth talking about.
It's fun to watch. It's exciting. I mean, they're a little cocky. I feel like they're going to be the new Seattle.
Ramsey, dude. Yeah, the new Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
Going down south.
Going south.
Man.
Ramsey's the cocky. He's the new Sherman, the cocky guy. It's just, will Blake Bortles be shaky in the playoffs? It's interesting to see that. I mean, I think even if he's not doing well, he doesn't have to put up a lot. This Bills offense, while it can be good, their defense isn't going to allow Buffalo to score that many. Hand the ball off to Fournette. Fournette is cool.
Fournette is cool.
I think I take Jacksonville, but I do agree with you that it's not just a bank game. I mean, Buffalo. I mean, they're off so much momentum right now. That city is. I mean, have you guys kept up with what the city's been doing to Andy Dalton, giving so much to his charity and Boyd?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And everybody just talks so much trash to Blake Bortles. Everybody in the whole league is just trashing Blake Bortles. Yeah.
I'm talking about Buffalo, though.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. I like no one trusts Blake Bortles, so this is a big game for him to really prove them wrong. Although I feel bad that if he wins this game, people are just gonna say, "Oh, it was Buffalo." But anyways, I mean, back on Buffalo. I mean, they're really high right now. This is the longest playoff drought that they've had in franchise history. They just ended it. So I mean, one of two things: they're going to come out motivated, excited, and this could be like one of those like Cinderella runs to the Super Bowl, or they could be satisfied with the season and not show up. Yeah, I think even if Bortles plays bad though, Jacksonville is just such a better team than Buffalo. I still take the Jags.
I'm going to take the Jags, but if Bortles turns it over multiple times, it evens up the game.
It sure would.
And you never know. I mean, he's either going to turn it over a lot or he's going to go off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of just how it goes with him. But Fournette will carry the load. The defense is awesome. I don't know, but Buffalo's got like that Cinderella feel.
It does have that Cinderella
Like,
feel that we're all kind of cheering for.
Like Tyrod got benched for Peterman, like that whole thing, and then now
and then the Bengals like
and all this stuff just falls
comeback.
into place.
So it's like that was absurd.
They just have like this weird thing about them. You know how those teams make the playoffs and they just upset everybody because they have this weird momentum. Like they have that, and Jacksonville's like a first-time playoff team too for a while.
Yeah. So both teams are going to come out with nerves.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how it plays out. That'll be one of the more interesting games. I feel like Jacksonville could run away with it if they really wanted to, but it could turn into something really good.
Yeah. It's just like Jacksonville is a much better team, but Buffalo just feels like they're riding that magic with them.
Yeah, and they have a lot of momentum, and their fan base is pretty strong.
Mafia. Yeah.
They'll go hard.
Okay, now onto the NFC. The first matchup, I think it's going to be really exciting. The defending NFC champs, Atlanta Falcons against the Rams. Something I want to say interesting, the Atlanta Falcons are the only team in the NFC playoffs that made the playoffs last year. And now they're the 6th seed. Is that what they are? The worst team.
6.
Only repeat. Now Goff's in the playoffs. Everyone was calling him a bust. McVay, head coach of the Rams, is younger than Matt Ryan, quarterback for the Falcons.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, should be coach of the year.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's a really exciting matchup. I think the Rams should win this unless they come out super nervous. But I mean, Falcons are good, but I think they overachieved a little bit last year, and they're not as good this year. Rams defense, they're also legit. Goff's playing well. I mean, all I want to say is he doesn't have to turn it over, but he's also going out and winning games as well, too. It's not just as simple as that, but that's all he has to do. So that's really nice. If he is playing a bad game, he can just turn around and give it to Gurley. And Gurley's having a MVP-worthy season, too. I think the Rams are going to win this one, but I'm scared to trust them. What do you think?
I wouldn't put either of them. I think it's like a 50-50 game, really. I can't pick one or the other. It's just the Falcons are riding some momentum right now. They have Julio Jones. I don't think anybody on the Rams is going to stop him. If he really wants to go off, I think he can go off against anybody, really. Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman are a great combination. Matt Ryan had a bad year, kind of,
for Matt Ryan, but like he's still good. He's still going to the playoffs in a tough conference.
And he's been there. He's gotten them. He's won them the NFC Championship game. Like he's proven himself in the playoffs. And then you go to Goff, who's a rookie. You go to Gurley, who this is his really like first opportunity, in the playoffs. And he has had a really good season. But if I'm the Falcons, my game plan is to stop him and let Goff beat us. I'm not going to let Gurley win this game. I'm going to load the box. I'm going to make Goff prove that he can throw the ball.
Yeah. I would do the same thing.
I don't know, man. I think the Falcons are an easier team defensively, the Rams are an easier team to scheme for. Because if you go against the Falcons, you're going to double Julio, but then you still got, Mohamed Sanu on the other side. You got some matchup nightmares. And then if you're trying to load the box and stop Devontae and Tevin Coleman, you throw the ball around. If you try to, take out their weapons on the outside, then you got those guys running it. I feel like Goff just isn't going to get it done if you have to put all of the weight on his shoulders. So
yeah, that's fair. I think he could get it done, but if I'm the Falcons, that's the same strategy I go into.
Yeah.
I don't want Gurley beating me. I'm going to dare Goff to do it.
Exactly. So if I could just give an edge, I'd go Falcons. But
yeah, and then I guess
it's going to be an offensive game. It's going to
yeah.
be a shootout. It's going to be awesome to watch.
Well, I mean, what's interesting is Rams do have a good defense too. But I mean,
they do, but they're really
Falcons.
bad against the run.
Yeah,
Surprisingly,
that's true.
Which
that's
is weird. But
yeah, usually you don't see that a whole lot. But
yeah, they're like 27th or something.
that should be a really fun game. Thank God that's going on Saturday, so we're not just stuck with Tennessee, Kansas.
Right.
City.
Yeah. No, that'll be probably the best game of the playoffs. I think.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun game to watch.
Fast forward a day later, I think the one you're nervous about, Panthers Saints. I think that's going to be a good one. You right now like the Saints as the team to beat in the NFC.
I do. I'm going to stick by that. I think the only thing that gives the Panthers an edge in this game right now is that this will be the third time that they've played.
Yeah, and
that's really the only thing because the Saints have really just dominated the Panthers in the first two games. I saw they put up something like 381 yards a game and then like 30-something points per game in each of those first two. That's their average.
It's in New Orleans.
It's in New Orleans. Drew Brees is feeling it. They have this crazy run game. They have weapons all over the place. Their defense is balling. It's going to be tough. It just depends on Cam. I think pound for pound, I think Cam Newton is the best player in the playoffs, but he can also be the worst player in the playoffs. It's what he.
No,
as far as
I would
take. Let's say
I would take Brady at his A game over Cam at his A game.
Sure, okay, but
I would take Antonio Brown over Cam at his A game.
Let me refine the statement. Quarterbacks. I'm not talking position players, but
Okay. So Brady.
Sure, Brady. But Cam can do things that nobody else can do, and we saw in 2015 in his MVP season. I would have taken Cam that season over anybody.
I would have taken Vaughn.
Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about quarterbacks. And so he has the potential to just go off and control a game, but at the same time, he has the potential to just lose a game and shut down. So I think it depends on which Cam comes to play.
Yeah.
If Cam,
if
Cam comes to play, then it'll be a game. But if he turns it over, he starts getting all negative, his body language shows, then obviously they're going to lose. The Panthers just go as Cam goes.
Yeah. So I think if 2015 Cam shows up, it's going to be a really good game. If 2011, 12, 13, 14, 16, or 17 Cam shows up, they're probably going to lose. And I think the odds are with me that he's not going to be 2015 out of nowhere. I think what you said when we first talked about this game, the thing going for the Panthers is that they've already lost twice to the Saints. It's really hard to beat the same team 3 times in 1 year.
Yeah.
That obviously means you're a division rival. But yeah, I mean, that's just going to be tough to do. But I just think New Orleans is just really good. Their home crowd is going to be rocking. The Panthers' defense is good as well, but I just don't see them shutting down the Saints' offense. But their defense is going to have to hold the Saints to about 20 to 24, and Cam's going to have to play his best game in 2 seasons and put up more than that to be able to beat the Saints. I don't think it happens. Saints go on to the next round. Jacksonville goes on to the next round. Kansas City and LA Rams.
I'm going to go Panthers. I think Cam comes to play. I think he comes to play. When he plays well, the defense even plays better. Like, everybody just plays better. So I think
that's because they force the other teams to pass.
Yeah, sure. But he'll be fired up. He'll play well. Panthers. Getting the dub.
Okay.
Then we're going Jags for sure. I just don't see him losing. Guess I'll go Falcons. Going to stick with the Falcons in that one. And then we'll go Chiefs.
Okay, so... See, Monday, he's right. We have 2 games the same, 2 games separate. And then we also, tiebreaker would be national championship. I got Georgia, you got Bama.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the SEC. Go Kentucky.
Got it all split.
Despite your bowl loss. It's basketball season now.
Basketball's struggling too.
Yeah. I know.
But they did get the big dub against Louisville, though.
Yeah, we beat Louisville.
That was a big win, too. It wasn't too close. It was
we smoked them. I kind of missed beating up on Patino, but I'm kind of glad he's fired, so... Go Caps.
All right, well.
I think that wraps it up for us. Watch the NFL playoffs this week, and it's going to be good. And watch the national championship Monday. That should also be good. Yep. Watch us Tuesday. That should be even better.
We'll have a guest Special
Oh, a
guest.
special guest surprise.
Bringing in
We will-
Lowe's.
Oh, I just said school.
Nobody knows who that is.
Ah, that's true. Yeah, he's a nobody.
Bringing him in. It'll be fun.
Okay. See you guys.
We'll see you then. Cheers.